And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I've got a lot of work to do in the next couple of days getting ready for next week. So let's just run through the Twitter deck. All right. My sincere apology for saying 2020 in my first segment that I got off the rails on. Now, this is why the media, this is why the deep state media does not like a guy like me. Because 48 seconds, that's how old this tweet is. 48 seconds ago. 48 seconds ago, President Donald J. Trump tweeted out, it's now a minute. That's how far behind I am on the news with the president. The Trump Foundation has done great work and given away lots of money, both mine and others, to great charities over the years, with me taking no fees, rent, salaries, etc. Now, as usual, I'm getting slammed by Cuomo and the Dems in a long-running civil lawsuit started by who? I'm going to refresh. Because, I mean, that was just 48 seconds ago. Where's the second one? Started by who? Dems in a long-running civil lawsuit. So that's his comment on the Trump Foundation. Remember, let's look at number 9. This very, you know... What a beast, man. I mean, that's like something you'd see in the wild. I know, I can't help that. It's wrong out of me. It is totally wrong. Get your children away from the TV. I'm thinking this is something that you come up on a safari. Oh, it can't get any worse. All right, so attempt to politicize. There's Trump Foundation to dissolve. And allegations of misusing funds. Bizarro, you think it's the Clinton Foundations, but this is the Attorney General of the state of Georgia, of the state of New York. That's Attorney General of the state of New York. Okay, let's take her off there. 18 minutes ago, President of the United States tweeted out, we have defeated ISIS in Syria. My only reason for being there during the Trump presidency. Okay. An hour ago, he tweeted out, Mexico is paying indirectly for the wall through the new USMCA, the replacement for NAFTA. Far more money coming into the U.S. because of the tremendous, far more money coming to U.S. because of tremendous dangers at the border, including large-scale criminal and drug inflow. The United States military will build the wall, exclamation point. It will get built one way or the other, he says. 2 hours ago, the President of the United States tweeted out, in our country, so much money has been poured down the drain. I just said that. Has been poured down the drain for so many years, but when it comes to border security and the military, the Democrats fight to the death. We won on military, which is being completely rebuilt. One way or another, we will win on the wall, one way or the other. Now, this is an amazing, I mean, this just amazes me when I see this, and I'll give you what I want. I don't know if the word is amazed. Sometimes I use words that I shouldn't. I mean, I just shouldn't say this. When I see stuff like, let's go to 16, that the Senate is working on a short-term spending plan, okay? And I see that. Folks, are we living in a bizarro world? Now, we have a Congress that is working on trillions of dollars in spending. Okay? Every year, a trillion. Okay? The debt goes up $1 trillion, we spend $1 trillion. Trillions of dollars in spending. Okay? No interest in paying back anything. We spend money with zero interest in paying back anything. No interest in it. Okay? And we have, go look at the, just Google fentanyl, just Google opiate death, American death rates increasing, the rate of death of Americans increasing based on drug addiction problems. I think just put that in the Google machine, as Gumby over there at MSNBC would say. Okay? Put that in there, the Google machine. See what you get. Drugs pouring across the border. Sickness, illness, disease, no checks whatsoever, pouring across the border. Our hospitals are collapsing. We don't have the money. States are in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. If you think for 1 second, not a minute, a second, that California is fiscally sound, all right, with the amount of illegals in Los Angeles or in the area of anywhere in California that have taken over hundreds of millions, which equal billions of dollars. We have $200 billion that they cost us a year, from housing them to social programs that we give them. We give them food, rent, okay? Schools, you have to let these kids in school. All right? It's sad the 7-year-old little girl died. It's sad, obviously. But if the 7-year-old little girl lives, she goes in the 2nd grade. And you pay for all those years. And when I make a comment that your schools are collapsing, it angers you that I don't know what I'm talking about. And the disconnect that we have in this country, when you have, I'm in Georgia, so I'll use Georgia. The disconnect that we have in this country when your state body, legislative body, comes to you and says our $26 billion budget now fully funds our schools. And you sit on this side and cheer, not stopping to think it's your money that is fully funding schools that are overrun with illegals. Yes, undocumented people in your states that's going to school, that you are educating, because the Constitution of the United States, we have to educate them. Yeah, federal government said you will educate them. Ask Jimmy Carter and ask the Department of Education that he created. You will educate them, all right? I'll tell you what. Now listen to me close. We're not going to get into, now listen to me close. We're not going to get into, is health care a right? We're not going to get into that. But for those of you out there that question, is health care a right or a privilege, why don't you take the same amount of time to think about, we've made education a right, government education a right to all that cross that border. They go in your school. Because let me tell you something, if you can get them through those schools and they get them into your communist higher learning levels of learning education, the big facilities there, and indoctrinate them, and they come out socialist? You see, if you make health care right and you give everybody health care, obviously, I understand what you're saying, but if that's right, but boy, I tell you what, the left, the Saul Alinsky's, the left, they all know. Get them in that school. Well, that's everybody's right. See, it's not everybody's right, okay? Now, wait a minute. Let's not get in the argument. We're not having an argument. I'm not coming to you to tell you that something is a right. I just want you to think of things. I get so tired of the narrow road that we go down to thinking of one thing, but the other thing we give no time. So now for me, my little head gets into, second grade, and I see the old-fashioned desks lined up in second grade, and I see me sitting in the front because in the back I always got moved to the front because I was in trouble. But I see the desk and I see all the kids. And I went to a diverse school where a lot of the kids I went to school with were Catholic, Jewish, Irish, they Catholic, all right, you getting that? German, black. I was the minority. I was a Baptist, a Southern Baptist, which, all right. So anyhow, I see that. And I see everybody according to the Department of Education that Jimmy Carter created and the indoctrination, which I went to school before Department of Education, but indoctrination, okay, I see everybody's supposed to have the same right to an education, the same textbook, okay, the same right to that education. And if they come across the border, no matter what, they're collapsing our schools. They're collapsing our hospitals. They're collapsing our financial struggle. You're broke and you don't know it, and the way they spend, you're not coming out of it. You're not coming out. You can't spend your way out of it, okay? But $200 billion, $200 billion, and you're reading reports today that we're going to send billions of dollars to Central American countries, including Mexico, up to $10 billion. The cost is $200 billion, but we can't build a border on our southern border. We cannot have any kind of deterrent from people coming in. It's bizarro world, folks. There's something bad wrong. We better fix it now, all right? Because we're broke and we don't know it, and we can't spend our way out of it. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.